Hi everyone, Raymond here from PriceShop Malaysia. Now, let's be real for a sec. Not everyone has 5,000 ringgit to drop on a smartphone, and honestly, most of the time you don't even need to. I've been an editor in this industry for quite some time now, and if I'm being completely honest, I've become a little bit cynical. We hear all the time that people always want and need the absolute latest and most expensive gizmos out there to truly enjoy their tech or even just to show off their status. Instead, I think people just need to get the basics right again. So, for the past 14 days, I've done something I haven't done in a long time. I took my SIM card out of my expensive flagship and put it into this, the Xiaomi 17T. I wanted to see if this is the sweet spot for the masses, or if I'd be begging to go back to my Pro phone within 24 hours. Let's start by talking about something that rarely gets enough screen time: ergonomics. You know, as an editor, my phone is my primary workstation. I'm on the go, 8 to 10 hours a day sometimes, and I've realized that my phone can have the fastest performance in the world, but if it feels like a brick in my hand or in my pocket, I'm not really gonna enjoy it. The 17T features a 6.59-inch display, which on paper sounds like a massive screen to handle. But here's where the design team actually got it right. Instead of making it wide and bulky, they kept the bezels extremely thin, and overall the footprint is quite narrow. Even though the back is completely flat, giving it that clean and industrial look that's in trend right now, the phone itself is remarkably slim. This means that your hand can wrap around the frame much more securely compared to those thicker and much more bloated flagships. I spent a full afternoon last week replying to over 50 editorial pitches on this phone while traveling from one event to another. Usually with those oversized, heavy, titanium phones, my hand starts to feel a little bit cramped because I'm stretching my thumb a bit too far across the screen. But with the 17T, well, its reachability is surprisingly natural. It's like a large screen experience that doesn't really feel like a burden to hold. If you're a mass user who spends most of their time commuting, scrolling through news and catching up on emails, you'll start to understand why this hand feel is a little bit more important than just, pure benchmark scores. Now, the camera. This is where most premium mid-rangers or flagship killers tend to fail. They usually have a cheap or over-processed look to it. With the 17T, it uses the Leica semi-lux lens system with a 50-megapixel main, 50-megapixel telephoto offering 5 times optical zoom and 10 times lossless zoom, and well, I kind of want to deep dive a little bit into this to why it matters for you. I was at a press event recently, terrible lighting, moving subjects, basically a camera's worst nightmare. I was using the Leica Authentic mode, and while most phones try to beautify everything, they end up lifting the shadows until photos look flat. And well, with these Leica shooters, they kind of do the opposite. It embraces the shadows, it gives image soul, almost like it's a real film camera. Now take a look at some of the other photos that I took. The vibrant feel of each photo, it does kind of look like it was shot by a professional street photographer. Not that I am one, but just saying, For the average user, this means that you don't have to be an editor, you don't need to know how to use Lightroom. The phone just kind of makes the artistic decisions for you as it's equipped with all these Leica features. Now, whether you're taking a photo of a place that you're visiting or a low light shot of your romantic dinner, this shutter is pretty good. There's no thinking time, it's just point, shoot, and you actually have a photo that looks like a memory, not some digital AI recreation. Of course, we do have to talk performance a little bit. So under the hood, we have the Dimensity 8500 Ultra. But let's just forget the synthetics for a while, forget the benchmark scores. Let's just talk about how it is to actually use it. Because while I can give you the benchmark scores, no problem, they don't tell you the full story. My day is a chaotic mess usually of multitasking, and my phone's the command center. I'm jumping between Google Docs, Chrome with 20 plus, maybe even 50 tabs open, and often I'm doing a little bit of a quick video edit for our social channels on the fly too. Now what really helps this device to feel incredibly light and snappy is HyperOS 3.0. There's just that snappiness to animations that makes the phone feel like it's waiting for me rather than me waiting for it. And for those of you who like to enjoy some light gaming or even video editing on the side, firmware management on this thing held up beautifully. Now usually that sounds like a recipe for firmware throttling, and while the 17T did get a little warm, it never buckled under pressure. For a professional workload, this is exactly the kind of stability and consistency that I look for. Finally, we all have to talk about this one thing: battery anxiety. I know, we all want to last long, but we've all been there. It's 6 p.m, you're stuck in traffic, your phone's at 8%, you forgot your power bank, and your car charging cable just isn't working properly. It's a terrible feeling. With the 17T though, I've been ending my heaviest work days with around 30% or more left. And even if you're a power user who actually manages to kill it, the 67-watt hypercharge is your safety net. I woke up yesterday, realized I forgot to plug it in, was like, oh my god, it's at 4%, plugged it in, took a shower, got dressed, and next thing you know, I was back up to speed. Sumpah laju gila. That is what completely changes your relationship with your phone. So what's the final word? Well, if you have 5,000 ringgit, 6,000, maybe even 7,000 ringgit, and you just want to flex, go ahead. Buy that super premium flagship, with the price of a laptop. But if you want to spend your money right, and if you want a phone that handles, professional workloads, feels comfortable in your hand, takes photos with actual character, the Xiaomi 17T is the editor's choice. It's just the sweet spot for every single rakyat to enjoy. I've been doing this for years now, and it's rare that I find a phone that makes me feel like I'm not settling for less, and yeah, that's kind of why I just really enjoy the Xiaomi 17T. I'm Raymond, and I'll see you in the next one.